Good morning. My name is Michael R. Roser, and I am Chief Coaching Facilitator and co-founder of my company, Strategic Life Coaching, LLC. Please join me for this video and others at my website, abundantlifeslc.com. Guys, again, thank you for everything, and really happy to hear from one woman who lives very nearby me who called in and said, holy cow, 2.2 pounds came off last week. And it just, again, guys, warms my heart that we're on this journey together for renewal and restoration. And today I'd like to just summarize one of the tools that I believe that we can all use, and that's what it is a tool to a medicine wheel to help us look at ourselves introspectively and hopefully gain some new knowledge and some new wisdom and some new beliefs as a result of going through this process. So what have we talked about the last 4 days? Well, again, heading north, we talked about forgiveness. We talked about this idea of all conflicts come from within inside us. Then we headed to the east and we talked about abundance and service and trying to find this source now of energy that we can use in our daily lives to keep us on point, to keep us on a daily basis striving to become the people we want to become. We talked about the turning east is for peace and for harmony and for balance and accepting our divine inheritance, all that's around us, and being grateful for what we have instead of constantly wishing for more things in our life, those quantities that we also talked about. Heading east, it denotes youth and getting back to our youth and remembering our youth and cherishing our youth and how completely happy and joyous and free we were when we were in our youth. And focusing on the earth. And then turning to the south for some healing and paying attention to the vibrations and the expressions that are around us, not only from us, but the people that we love and care for. Talking about dancing our own dance, being the people and being authentic people. And then yesterday we talked about heading west, which was to try to get to some truths in our lives on how we're existing and compassion towards ourselves and toward others. Wanting to have love and empathy and gratitude in our lives where some perhaps doesn't exist, or we'd like more of those fine qualities that we're going for. And I wanted to, we had talked about, these Native Americans and how they had these spirit animals and they would notice these animals. And we talked specifically about the Lakota Indians yesterday and their reverence for a white buffalo and buffalo in general. And I also said that I had written down yesterday a couple of other symbols from Native American culture. One is the wolf, and the wolf figures prominently in nearly every Native American tribe, and wolves themselves are medicine, and they're associated with courage and strength and loyalty. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is my wolf. And you might recall last year I actually painted a wolf myself, and wolves mean a great deal to me. And I was involved with Reiki, and I believe in that very, very much, to connect to one's body, and the Reiki process itself was very enlightening for me, and it brought energy to me, and I could actually feel energy leaving my body, the bad energy, and restoring that with new energy based upon Reiki. And I promise you guys, I thought it was hogwash. And I had contempt prior to investigation. And finally, I tried it. And as I was going through this, I entered kind of like a seance kind of a state. And I was going and I was on this dark path going through these trees. And this wolf appeared to me in this kind of daydream that I was having. And that wolf, of course, could talk. And that wolf said, hey, follow me. I know the way out of this dark forest that you find yourself in. Follow me, and I will protect you, and I will be loyal to you, and I will help you with the courage to get out of this. And that wolf walked me out of that forest into this light, warm place, and that's never left me. I've never forgotten it, and I've had a fascination for wolves ever since. And I also want to mention one more thing. The raven in Native American culture is a symbol that danger has passed and that good luck is now going to follow. And again, my point in going through all of this, guys, was to try to find this spirit that is out there and amongst us. I choose to call it God, and I believe that divine inheritance that we were talking about, that comes from my God as I understand God. But if you don't believe in a God, it's totally okay, because you can find this spirit around you and you can tap into that to make you feel better. And so just a very quick example would be this idea of, okay, do you feel differently in the winter versus the summer? Just in general. The winter is that cold, wind in Chicago. And if you're lucky enough to live in Florida, again, God bless you. But in Chicago, we have long winters, very cold winters. And the sun comes up barely over the tree line, it seems, and it rises and sets very, very quickly. And we find ourselves in literal darkness for long periods of time. I found myself to be very solar powered. I need to get out and get that vitamin D and get that sunshine and feel that heat, because it makes me feel better, and I can detect that right away. So if you're believing that there's no spirit involved in this, I would challenge you that, do you feel differently in the summer versus the winter? Do you feel differently with long days and nights when you wake up to go to work and the sun is up, and you come home from work and the sun is up, and you still have things to do after work outside, and chores and things that you can do late at night, play golf, play sports, jog, run, whatever, because we have that additional sunshine, we have that additional day, if you will, in our lives. And when the winter is over, and the springtime is showing up and the snow is melting and the trees are starting to bud again, I know I feel differently. That hope of summer's coming, I've endured another winter, and I feel dramatically better. So what I'm suggesting is, are there other things that we can do in our life to also feel better? To get to this new truth, to get to some new beliefs, and then gain some new wisdom. And what that required is conditioning. And that required a regimen, specifically, as we talked about yesterday, with regard to your physical state. That requires rest, it requires a good diet, it requires some exercise, it requires that ability to take care of ourselves and invest in ourselves so that we can feel better. But it also has an effect, this regimen, on everything else that we're doing. Because if you find yourself, as I did, emotionally not in the balance that you want to be in, these doctors have given me a medicine regimen. Okay, so I have 3 specific medicines that I have to take every day. It's a regimen, and if I don't do it, I can feel it immediately. And I don't mind getting into that regimen because I know it makes me feel better and it makes me more balanced. So what I'm talking about is a life regimen. So if we split this down into those 4 quadrants again, that is exactly what SLC is going to do. The definition of a regimen is a prescribed course of medical treatment or way of life for the promotion or restoration of our health. That's exactly what a regimen is designed to do. So at SLC, what we're trying to do is develop one of these regimens in each of the facets of life for you. So if you're in need physically of a regimen, we will create that for you, emotional, spiritual, and financial. And if you follow those regimens, I'm sure, because it's worked for me, that you'll find a different truth, and you'll find a different wisdom, and you'll find an abundant, peaceful life. Take care. Hope that helped. Bye now.